Hello and welcome. My name is Carin Winter, and I am the CEO and founder of Mission B. We're a nonprofit that brings mindfulness and social and emotional learning to schools. We are based out of Long Island, New York, and we're also doing a lot of work in Silicon Valley, California. And it's my pleasure to teach and work with all of you today. So I'm excited to be here. So a little bit about our program. I will just share my screen. Give me one quick sec here. All right. Cool. So Mission B was started in 2013. I was a school social worker, just so you know who I am. I won't talk about myself too much, but just to give you a little background. I am 48 years old. I started working with adolescents when I was 23, so a very long time ago. I spent a few years working in the New York City foster care system and the juvenile justice system, working with gang-involved youth and children that were placed in group homes and residential treatment centers. And then I worked as a high school social worker for 10 years. I had a small private counseling practice. I owned a yoga studio for a little less than a decade. And I've been practicing mindfulness since I was 16. My parents sent me to live with my Uncle Chuck, who was a hippie in Michigan. And they said, if you want to be a hippie, go live with Uncle Chuck. It was kind of a punishment. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. He gave me all these tapes of Thich Nhat Hanh and Ram Dass and all of these incredible Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, all of these kind of new age and Buddhist teachers. And so I immersed myself in the study of those practices, started doing yoga my freshman year in college. And so I have a lot of experience in the field of mindfulness and mental health. I noticed when I worked at Islip High School for 10 years as a school counselor, that a lot of our students were struggling with similar issues. They had anxiety, depression, addiction, all sorts of issues that you might expect in adolescence. And I also felt that I could only see about 10% of the student body in any given year. So about 90% of the student body were walking around without any sort of mental health services in an educational capacity. And so I built out this curriculum. We piloted it in the phys ed classes. This was in 2013, so 10 years ago. And it went really well. It was voluntary. We had more than 52% of the student body sign up for the mindfulness course as an alternative to phys ed once a week for 8 weeks. It went great. And then we piloted it with these students that you see in this photograph at an elementary school in Long Island. And so these kids are now probably 18 or 20 years old. This was a group of 2nd through 5th graders. These kids were great. I trained a group of women who volunteered. They had master's degrees in social work, psychology, education, and also experience teaching yoga. And so we went into these classrooms once a week for 8 weeks. We taught a 40-minute mindfulness lesson. And then we gave the teachers short minute practices, 10-minute practices, 2-minute practices that they could do throughout the week. At the end of this 8-week program, as you can see, all 500 children are quietly doing a mindful practice in a field on one of the first days of spring on Long Island. So it was really a moving day for me. So moving, in fact, that I took a 1-year leave of absence. And now I've been doing this full time since, I guess, 2014 or 2013. I don't know, somewhere around there. Since that time, we've reached 148,000 students. We're actually up to 168. I have to update this slide. 150 plus schools where we've provided direct services where we're going into the school and physically there training staff. And then online and in other capacities, we've trained over 12,000 teachers through our teacher training program. We are now up to, I have to update this slide, 11 nations and 28 states. So it's been a really fun run doing this work, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm really excited to share it with you. So our program is aligned with a lot of the New York State standards for anti-bullying legislation, next generation standards for academics. These are all New York State standards. New York State has some of the toughest and thorough standards nationwide. So they're always a good model to follow. So they have standards for mental health, social and emotional learning, diversity inclusion, and academic standards. So our curriculum, it's like a few hundred pages, and the first couple, I think it's the first 70 pages are standards and how we meet them. We also have a lot of data to support our program. I'm sorry, this is not a pitch. This is just like a 3-minute overview of what we do, so you know who we are and how we work. So we've collected tons of data. I was actually going through some data yesterday, but this is some of my favorite research data that we have collected. This was a short study in Palo Alto, and they asked the students how they felt. And as you can see here, I'm not going to read the numbers, but it wasn't looking too good. And then we implemented our program and returned a couple months later and found that there was a radical change in the students and in their level of happiness and peace. Because if we teach math, we learn how to do calculations and long division. And if we teach English, we learn how to write a beautiful paragraph or maybe a novel. And if we learn SEL, we learn how to manage our emotions. So that's who we are. That's where we came from. But before I go any further, let's do a short practice. Today's class is going to be about self-care for the educator. So it's really going to be all about you and your own practice and ways that you can integrate mindfulness into your life as a form of self-care, as a way to keep yourself regulated and peaceful and calm. So hopefully we can provide that for you. So let's start with a little practice. All right, let's find our seats. So come to a comfortable seated position. I like to sit cross-legged, but you can place your feet on the ground and just roll the shoulders back and forth a couple times. Move your neck around. I'm hearing a lot of crackling over here. And then just shake the arms out. Maybe just bring the hands to the occipital ridge to kind of bring some movement into your neck. Sometimes if we go right into practice, we end up moving around while we're in practice, you know. And then let's just give ourselves a nice big hug. So squeeze. And then other arm. Squeeze. All right. If you want, you can interlock your fingers, look up, open the mouth. Exhale, look down. All right, so let's get to it. All right, so come to a comfortable seated position. Softly and gently close your eyes. And just begin to connect with your breath. So notice where you feel the breath in your body. Notice it rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. Inhale, the belly and heart rise. And exhale, the heart and belly fall. Breathing in, the belly and heart rise. And breathing out, the heart and belly fall. So just keeping your eyes closed, following the soft and gentle rhythm of your breath. Notice that when you inhale, the breath is cool. And when you exhale, the breath is warm. Inhaling cool air. And exhaling warm air. All the breath is in and out of the nose. They say the mouth is for eating and the nose is for breathing. So just letting yourself begin to settle. Notice how your breath moves softly and gently, like a sweet breeze or a gentle wave. And just invite that wave to deepen. Slowly inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, feeling the belly, lungs, and chest rise. And exhaling, feeling the chest, lungs, and belly fall. Good. And as you sit in stillness, just notice any sensations in the body. Notice any sounds in the room. Notice the temperature of the air. And just re-anchor in your breath. Inviting your breath to deepen. Go ahead and scan your body for any place where there might be tension or holding, and simply invite it to let go. You might want to relax the jaw or the muscles in the neck, maybe even the space between the eyes or around the temples. See if you can invite your entire head and neck to relax. And then breathe deep into your belly. Feel the breath expand up into the heart. And feel a wave of relaxation washing down your spine. Breathe back into your belly. Feel the belly, lungs, and chest rise as you inhale. And as you exhale, feel a wave of relaxation washing down the spine. Taking another deep breath in, feel the belly, lungs, and chest rise. And as you exhale, feel a wave of relaxation washing down your arms to your palms and fingertips. Taking another soft, gentle, deep breath in and deep breath out. Breathe deep into your lower belly now. Feel the lower body expand. And then as you exhale, feel a wave of relaxation washing down your legs, the soles of your feet, and the tips of your toes. Beautiful. And now let's just scan our body once more to see if there's any place where there's any remaining tension or holding. And then just resting in stillness for a few breaths together. Good. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Good. All right, so that's just our grounding practice and intro. And now I want to get a little bit into why we need mindfulness, right? So this is going to be some basic neuroscience, and forgive me if you've heard it before. I know we have a lot of different speakers on this conference, and I'm sure some of us are sharing similar information. So why do we need mindfulness? Well, you know the answer. You're on the conference, right? We have a lot of stress in our lives. And what happens is over time, stress wears and tears on the part of our brain that we need to function. So essentially, in the brain, if you know this already, just another refresher. In the brain, we have the amygdala. We actually have two, one on each side, and it's the alarm center of the brain. So you see a tiger in the jungle, the amygdala goes off, and you run from the tiger. And so when that happens, right, it inhibits the functioning of the hippocampus, which is our memory, and our prefrontal cortex, which is higher order cognitive functioning, information processing, and learning. So essentially, we learn to calm the amygdala and also calm the cortex, because the cortex can also do a lot of what if thinking, right? We can learn to be more peaceful and more relaxed. And why is this important for us as teachers or educators or parents? Well, because children have a lot of mirroring neurons. So we can tell them to relax, but most of the time they're going to pick up on our stress. So a lot of times we get caught in this sympathetic nervous state. There's a sympathetic state, think of S, sympathetic, and P, parasympathetic. S, stressed, sympathetic, P, peaceful, parasympathetic. So when we're in a stressed state, our heart rate goes faster, our digestive activity slows down, our glucose goes up, we secrete epinephrine and norepinephrine, which are no good, stress hormones. And what happens is we sometimes get locked in the sympathetic state. So remember during the holidays, I was putting up decorations and I had a very, very stressful week, but it was a Saturday. I was in my pajamas and I was like putting this here and putting that there. And I was like, oh, wow, I had such a stressful week that I was like putting up this decoration in a stressed state, which is rather silly, right? There was nothing stressful about it. So even though I had a decent night's sleep, my brain it became my default setting that week, right? So I said, okay, I got to slow down, maybe lengthen my meditation, maybe do a little more self-care and get myself back into a better rhythm. But sometimes the sympathetic becomes our default state, right? So it's really important that we learn to embrace and move ourselves into this parasympathetic state when we notice ourselves slipping back into sympathetic. So it might be like you're driving, if you live in California on the 101, if you live in New York on the LIE, and someone's tailgating you, and all of a sudden you're in sympathetic, right? Just like that. And so with mindfulness, we can pause, take a breath, recognize the stressor, and put ourselves back into that peaceful or parasympathetic state. Now, we might have to do this all day long. I think that mindfulness is great if you practice it in the morning. We do like our 22 minutes. I usually do 22 minutes in the morning of self-care, but it doesn't always stick with me throughout the day. And that's what I want to address today is how do we use mindfulness throughout the day to get ourselves out of the sympathetic state into this peaceful state, because it's not just the sympathetic, it's also our HPA axis, our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, right? So the adrenal glands are secreting adrenaline and our pituitary gland needs to be a little more peaceful, right? Peaceful pituitary. And so everything is interconnected. It ties into our hormones, into our endocrine system. It connects to our thyroid. Like every part of us needs respite. It needs self-care. And it's not just 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, or more or less, right? It's also all day long, recognizing those signs all day long. And so if we can make mindfulness more integrative throughout the day, it should help in reducing our gene marker for inflammation. That's what our studies show. It should help focus, improve stress and anxiety, lowering it. So I want to get to the gist of the practices here, because I want to make this presentation very interactive, even though it's a recording. So I have a handout. It should have been shared with you by Kazam. So I'm going to text it in the chat. I don't know. Can you get the chat? Well, anyway, if you don't have your handout, email me at Carin@missionbe.org. It's Carin like Marin, Carin @missionbe.org. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to my handout and I want to show you a little bit about this handout that we're going to use today. So we're going to cover some self-care breaths next, which I'm really, really excited to share with you. But if we go up to the top of this handout, just to review it real quickly, there's some information that I went over for the first 2 or 3 minutes about the organization. And this is what we just discussed, this brain science stuff, right? And then we go right into our self-care breaths. So these are breaths, it's noted what they're used for, like increase silence and reduce stress, or just reduce stress, or de-escalate anger, reduce stress and increase sleep. So they're all different breaths used for different purposes. So I'm going to go through some of them now with you. And so I hope you enjoy learning these and that there's something you can utilize in your life. There's also these YouTube videos. Let me just stop my share real quick and pull this up. And so, there we go. All right. Bring all of your attention to your breath. Okay, so I'm going to play this for you. Please. So I'm going to go through these videos right now, but I want you to understand how to use the resources. So I'm going to share my screen here. So at the bottom of this handout, the bottom of each breath, you're going to see the ocean breath here, and then it's going to say the ocean visualization. So I'm teaching you the breaths today. And if I have time at the end, I will teach you some visualization as well. The breaths are nice, short, easy practices that you can do whenever you want, whenever you feel stressed. You can be driving, as long as you don't close your eyes, of course. You could be sitting in a meeting, you could be laying in bed, you could be on an airplane, wherever you are is okay. So here we go. Here's the YouTube ocean breath. So I'm going to share that now. I'm going to actually put that right here because it wasn't working when I clicked on it. All right. So these are the videos that you're going to get to utilize. And so this link here is a whole library of these nice visualizations, and they look something like this. Start to feel settled. Make sure you're in a comfortable seated position. Bring your attention to your breathing. So I'm not gonna play all of these. I just want to let you know that that's a resource in the handout that I would recommend using. Alrighty, so I'm gonna stop my share and I'm actually gonna read right from the handout, although I have this breath memorized because I think it will help you, because not only is this good for you, but these are also breaths that you can teach to your students, but also to your partners, to your children, to your friends. All right, so here we go. So close your eyes and connect with your breath. Imagine the waves of the ocean rolling in and out from the shore. Imagine your breath moving rhythmically, just like the waves of the ocean. As you inhale, feel the wave rising. And as you exhale, feel the breath falling, just like a wave. Breathing in, my body is at peace. And breathing out, my body rests. Breathing in, my body rests. And breathing out, it's safe for me to relax. As I inhale, my breath moves in. And as I exhale, my breath moves out. I breathe in, welcoming a sense of peace. And I breathe out, welcoming a sense of relaxation. As I move into the silence and stillness of the ocean breath, I allow my belly, lungs, and chest to rise and fall. So just becoming still for a little while, sitting and breathing in silence for 1 minute. Good job. All right, you can open your eyes for a moment. And we're going to go to the next breath in the handout, which is the quiet air breath. I'm going to read that one from the quiet air right into inhale, cool, exhale, warm. All right. So here we go, quiet air breath. We use this with students during lockdown drills, not exactly a stress-free association, but anytime you need them to be quiet, it's also good to share this with your classroom. All right, let's begin. So close your eyes. Move your body in any way that feels good. And then become as still and quiet as you possibly can. Inhale deeply and quietly. Place your hands on your belly and feel the belly rise and expand like a balloon as you inhale, and fall and release as you exhale. And just sit for a few moments in silence with your quiet air breath, bringing your attention to the stillness in your body and focusing just on your breath. And keeping your eyes closed, going into the inhale, cool air, exhale, warm air breath. Notice how the breath feels in your body. Notice that when you inhale, the breath is cool. And as you exhale, the breath is warm. Inhaling cool air and exhaling warm air. Begin to feel like your breath is moving like a gentle breeze. As you breathe in the cool air, welcome your body to relax. And as you exhale, invite your body to relax even deeper. As you continue to stay connected to your breath, begin to scan your body, starting with the head and going down over the next few breaths all the way down to the toes. Noticing any area that's tense and simply let it go. And sitting in silence for a few moments. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. So now I'm going to do the 7, 2, and 8 breaths. Actually, when I'm doing this for any sort of insomnia, I actually hold the inhale to 4 instead of 2. So we'll do 7, 2, and 8, and then we'll do 7, 4, 8. So it's an inhale for 7, hold for 2, exhale for 8, or inhale for 7, hold for 4, exhale for 8. And I use this to help with sleep. Counting breaths are really popular in some regards. Some people don't like them at all. Some people love them. They use them a lot in the military. We've trained veterans and police officers in these types of breaths, first responders. But we also train students in counting breaths. Some students really like them as well. All right, let's start. Close your eyes. Find your seat. Let's move the shoulders back and down a couple times. Good. And now with the eyes closed, I'd like you to envision what it might feel like if your body was really relaxed. For these 2 breaths, if you're able to find a place to lie down, you're welcome to also just go ahead and lie down. So if you want to pause the video and lie down, you're welcome to do that as well. All right, so we're going to inhale for a count of 7 through the nose. Hold for a count of 2. And exhale slowly for a count of 8. Doing that 2 more times on your own. Inhale for 7, hold for 2, and exhale for 8. All right, now we're going to increase it to 7, 4, and 8. So we're going to inhale for 7. Hold for 4. And exhale slowly for a count of 8. Doing that twice on your own. 7, 4, and 8. You can keep your eyes closed. We're going to do the candle breath. This is the only breath in our curriculum that's out the mouth. I found a really interesting study about exhaling out the mouth and assisting in decreasing anger. So I figured, why not? So we're going to inhale through the nose, eyes are closed. And exhale, blow slowly out the mouth. As if you're blowing out a candle. Very gently. So inhale again through the nose. Just like we're blowing out one candle, not a whole birthday cake, right? And then exhale and slow. For 8, inhale for 6. And exhale for 8. Good, now we're just going to go into a 3-part breath. So keeping your eyes closed, resting the body. And just begin to let your breath be slow and steady in and out of the nose. We're just going to notice how the belly, lungs, and chest rise as we breathe in. And fall as we breathe out. Inhale, the belly, lungs, and chest rise. And exhale, the chest, lungs, and belly fall. Breathing in, acceptance. And breathing out, just letting go of all those things we can't control. Breathing in acceptance of this moment, whatever it is for you. And breathing out, just letting go. Anything you need to let go of today. Just letting it go, letting it release like a little balloon up into the sky. All right, wiggle your fingers and toes and softly and gently open your eyes. Well, beans, good job, everyone. So those are just some, I'm going to share my screen again. So those are just some simple breaths that you can do alone with yourself, with your family, with your students. There's a few more here. We don't have time to do all of them. I really like the peace breath. And then there's some self-care movements for teachers. I think it's really important that we take breaks to move the body. It's so easy to like go from topic to topic, and then the kids have lunch or they have phys ed or something, and we just keep going. So I just would encourage all the educators or any parent or anyone that's working nonstop to just take a 2-minute break every 50 minutes. So that's what's recommended, 50-minute breaks for 10 minutes if you can, but I know that 10 minutes, like people are like, yeah, okay, where are we getting these 10 minutes from? So how about 50-minute breaks for even 30 seconds, right? Can we do 30 seconds, which is about 3 cycles of breath? So some of these movements are really, really simple. We did shoulder rolls earlier, but just, if your students are doing a math quiz or something, just bringing your hands to your shoulders and doing couple shoulder rolls, elbow rolls, circling our wrists, that was my foot, circling our ankles, flexing the spine, anything you can do. I really like getting my head below the pelvis to get more blood flow to the head too. You can grab hold of the knees for spinal flexing. I'll stop my share while I do this actually. So just grab hold of the knees, curl the spine, look towards the belly button. And then inhale and look up, open the mouth. You can usually, if your jaw's tight, you can crack your jaw. Exhale, curl the spine. Inhale, look up. Exhale, curl the spine. Yeah, see, it's easy and fun. Another nice thing to do is, we have some Qigong movements here. Are you ready for those? Let's see. These are really nice. These are like standing breaks, right? You can do these with your students or you do them alone. This is a self-care workshop, but teachers always want to know. And I also do this with my students, and absolutely you can. So let's do these elevator breaths, half circle, side to side, and you. Let me pull this up here so I could see it while I'm talking to you. All right, so let's do some standing movements. We've been sitting for a while now, right? These are based in Tai Chi Qigong. I studied under a martial artist for a while, but he would be very mad if I called these martial arts or Qigong. We just call these simple mindful movements. Okay, so this is just to get the blood flowing. But before I start, I just personally like to just drop the head when I've been sitting for a while. So let's just drop the head, shake the head out. Shake it no, nod it yes. You can grab hold of opposite elbows and then just drop all the way down and rock from side to side. And then inhale, come up. And exhale down, shake it out, good. All right, so just some basic principles here. The feet are typically about hips distance apart. The knees are bent, the core is engaged, the tailbone is tucked. And we're just gonna inhale the arms up and exhale down. Soft, gentle breath in and exhale the breath out. Breathing in and breathing out. If you want to slow it down, it feels natural and okay, you can slow it down even more. Let's do a few more of these. Inhale. And exhale. So if you're stuck returning emails for hours on end, get up and do some of these movements. All right, let's do half circle. So we're going to inhale up through center and act like we're making 2 half circles on either side of the body. So we inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. So we can continue this to like a side to side. So we just continue with that movement. I turn my heart to the right. I come back to center. And just turn my heart to the left. Breathing in and breathing out. Sometimes nice just to look around the room. Sometimes our mind gets caught in that sympathetic or stress state. And we just look around the room. We're like, oh, wow, look, I'm safe. There's no tiger, right? I'm experiencing that right now. Ah, feels good, right? And then the U breath, I like to spread my legs a little wider for this one. We're just going to inhale to one side and exhale to the other. This type of movement, once you get used to it, it kind of lets you know whether you've been in fight or flight all day. Because you're like, you start doing these movements and you realize, oh, the body's so tense, or I'm stressed, or I'm not flowing, you know? And so sometimes nice to take a break and to just go ahead and move mindfully. Yeah, so I had a coach a long time ago that said, mindfulness is 24/7, Carin. It's not what you do in the morning or the evening. It's how do you interface with the world? How do you interact all day long? You know, because you could easily do like a deep practice in the morning, but then get caught up all day long on emails and texts and classes and deadlines, and it can be really stressful. So I would say do it every hour, even if it's just 2 minutes, you know, do a mindfulness practice every hour. I don't have much more time to do any more practices. I'm going to just do one closing out one and go over some free resources. So here on page 9, let me just share my screen. We do have, I'll do that first and I'll just close with a practice. How's that sound? We have visualizations, which are just like breaths. They're a little bit longer and they're in that link that I showed you, the YouTube link. So that's where the visualizations are. And a deep relaxation. And here's some tips here for personal practice. So take time daily to do, if you're new to mindfulness, I mean, 2 minutes is great. I prefer 20. I think that you can get there. If you add 2 minutes a day, right, for 10 days, you'll be at 20 minutes in 10 days. And so it's also good to do it, you know, before lunch, not after. Just even do some deep breathing while you're checking emails, right? In the morning, you know, I do some breaths and some gratitude practice before my feet hit the ground in the morning. I like to do that. I like to go outside, check out the trees and the forest, eat breakfast mindfully. And then there's some other ideas down here about midday and afternoon. You know, just take a movement break. You can be at your desk doing what we just did. It takes a minute, 30 seconds. Just, it's like a hard reset. It's like turning off the computer and turning it back on. And in the evening, it's just nice to maybe listen to some music or do another seated practice or do a body scan before bed. Here's some couple resources. I've been really enjoying this book lately, not to push Daniel and Chris's books. These guys are my mindful buddies. This book's really cute for the kids. I want to add this to my mindful resources. But that's a teaching piece. But for yourself, check out some of our resources that we have down here. If you go to missionb.org events, you're going to find that there's a teacher training coming up. If you're a Long Island teacher that's serving children of color, or if you're a teacher of color in Long Island and Nassau or Suffolk County, we actually have these $200 scholarships for teachers this spring. So here's our teacher training. If you're interested in signing up for that, here's a great documentary we made, right, by the way, with a lot of experts in the field. So here's our online course. There's also a Mindful Parent Teacher Summit, which is really cool. And we also have virtual classes for educators, which is something we made during the pandemic. So if you're interested in this, just shoot me an email to Carin@missionb.org and I will give you free access to this. It's normally $100. It's recorded videos for your classroom that you can play. And these are the nature videos that I went over earlier. So let's just close with a practice. Come to a comfortable seated position, close your eyes, sit up nice and straight. Let's bring our right hand to the space just below the collarbone and the left hand to the solar plexus, the space between the ribs. And softly and gently connect with your breath, feeling present in your body. Notice again how your breath moves softly and gently like a wave, rising on the inhale and falling on the exhale. Inhale, the belly and heart rise. And exhale, the heart and belly fall. Feel this wave of breath moving through you, softly and gently. Feel your body relaxing into this moment. I just want you to imagine what it might look like and feel like to integrate short practices into your day. What might it look like and feel like to take a break every 50 minutes for 30 seconds to 2 minutes? To just bend over, touch your toes, sit and breathe, do a movement. Imagine what it might look like for you to do this in your classroom. At least once an hour, just to break the cycle of stress and to reset not just you, but your students. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. And thank yourself for listening, for being present, for showing up, for being patient with me. Thank you so much. And again, my name is Carin, like Marin, Carin, at missionbe.org. Our website is missionbe.org. I look forward to connecting with you in the future. Hopefully you can check out some of our free resources. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.